the Aztecs are back in action. Oh, it's good to see them back in action, taking on San Jose State tonight. And joining us right now, as he has so graciously done many times during the course of the season, assistant coach Chris Acker. So, Coach, it's great to see you guys back in action. Give us a little clue, because as we know, and we've talked about this before, whether it was the lead up to the BYU game, the lead up to the Colorado State game, games in which you had extended layoffs, the team came up short. So in preparation for tonight, have you handled it any differently in preparation for this game, especially in light of how well this team has played over the last 4 games?
Well, first and foremost, thanks for having me on, guys. It's exciting to be back on the show. We've tried to just, make our practices similar to games. I think that's the biggest adjustments we've done. We've steered away from a lot of drills and just tried to focus on getting game reps and putting our guys in situations they're going to be in the game, and try to help them in situations where they get to fight against fatigue a little bit and continue to play. So we've tried to do our best to just be prepared and be organized and be ready to go for this next game.
And we know how important practice is, and what you get the emphasis you guys put on practice to prepare for these games. But we were looking at a team during this 4-game win streak, Coach, where they are just putting up lots of points. Now, I mean, how do you continue to keep that flow, that up-tempo style of play going when you have a layoff, unfortunately, like you guys have had?
Well, we just try to, again, just be who we are. We're a team that, we get out on the floor in practice and we simulate what we do in games, and we coach to those strengths. And we've basically narrowed down our focus and being, a team that's elite in transition and a team that, goes out there and plays together night in and night out and plays with extreme confidence. And so we just hope that we go out there again and do the same thing. And I don't think, the layoff has anything to do with our swagger and our confidence and our ability to compete. So I think we're going to be fine in this upcoming game.
Coach, when I think about San Jose State, I'm sure you're thinking the same thing, and that's Malachi Flynn, the game winner. Can you sort of take us back a year ago in one of the most exciting finishes to an Aztec game, and, of course, really early in that season to propel you guys to that incredible 26-0 start? Can you go back to that game from a year ago?
Well, yeah, I mean, first and foremost, great teams figure out a way to win no matter what's going on throughout the course of the game. And so, our guys played extremely well on the defensive end throughout the course of the game. And obviously we struggled a lot offensively. We missed some, chippies right around the basket. And, we just weren't ourselves throughout the course of that game, a little out of sorts at times. And then, we call a timeout or there's a dead ball and then there's a timeout, and then, coach draws up a play, and, the play kind of breaks down because San Jose State does a good job defensively. We get the ball into Jordan. Jordan dribbles up. He throws it to Malachi. And, we always say the elite guys want the ball. And so you could see Malachi sprinting over to the basketball. And, I just remember my heart racing. And then, his elevation when he jumped up to shoot it, you just saw the confidence. When he jumped up and when the ball went in the basket, it was just, pandemonium. You just felt the energy in the gym and the arena. And, just thinking about that, reminds you how much you miss having the fans there. But it was an exciting game for sure.
And, Coach, I mean, Steve, you bring up I'm just the flashback, to put a flashback in your head as quickly as you did when asking the coach that question. That's a memory my son and I will have. We were 20 rows up on the side of the game-winning basket. And to me, Coach, that's what I think of is the crowd that night. And you just, or that afternoon, but you just hit it. Do you guys talk as a team? I mean, just how much you miss having that and how the players are adjusting to not too many fans in the stands? I mean, is there an adjustment there? What is that like? Do you guys talk about that as a team?
We don't necessarily talk about it as a team. I think, we kind of have an underlining factor that, we represent our city and our fans every time we step out on the floor, every time we put on that jersey. And so we know that, every game we step into, teams are going to play a little bit different than they would in other games just because we're wearing that jersey. And so we just try to take Aztec Nation out there on the floor with us and when we are starting the game and the jumbotron comes up and you hear the crowd chanting and everything, it gives you energy and it makes you excited. It makes you proud to be a part of this program for sure. We definitely miss the crowd. We want them there, but they're definitely there with us. And after the games, we talk about, Aztec Nation and what we represent. So Coach Dutcher does a tremendous job of just keeping us grounded, but also helping us understand on a day-to-day basis how important it is to represent Aztec Nation at the highest level.
Aztecs assistant basketball coach Chris Acker is joining us. So the losses at Utah State, the offense was really struggling. All of a sudden, over the last 4 games, you're averaging over 90 points a game. You're winning games by an average of more than 30 points a game. So what's the difference, Coach? How did suddenly an offense that looked like it was really having a hard time just getting out of the gate suddenly look so electric?
Well, I think, when we played that first game at Utah State, that was the first time I believe we were in altitude a little bit, and our guys were shocked by that, and our pace was just off and out of sorts. And and then you think about when we watch the film the next morning, we look at it and we say, well, shoot, we don't look like ourselves. Like our mindset isn't right. We're not competing and playing in the paint like we normally do. We got to make some adjustments, and we got to look in the mirror and make some adjustments first and foremost. And so when we did that, you saw a different Aztec team on the floor that second game versus Utah State. From an offensive standpoint, the amount of points we scored weren't necessarily there, but our mindset was different in that second game versus Utah State, and that's what propelled us to go into the next couple games and focus on being aggressive, which is the starting point to any good offense. And then we try to go from being aggressive to being smart. And so those two things put together, that's what fans are starting to see out there on the floor. You're starting to see a very aggressive group, but a group that's also starting to figure it out and play a little bit smarter. So we're just, like we always do, we try to figure it out as the year goes on, how we can improve, how we can get better. And, we're not done yet. We got a lot more work to do. We got to continue to get better, continue to, drive home our identity. And, it's hard. Just as difficult as it was to get to where we are, it's very easy to lose that momentum as well if we resort backwards at all.
Coach, I know, and that identity is being noticed. I mean, it's more for the fans, and it's more for guys like us who talk about the Aztecs on the radio and cover the team. But you guys are moving up on the net. Is that something that you sort of have eyes on, or the team has eyes on, and looking at what is transpiring outside of that identity?
Well, we just look at, first and foremost, it's all about winning our conference, and winning a conference championship and hanging a banner. And so we try to do everything in our power to do that. And then, if we take care of our business, we feel like, things will fall into place. So, again, it's really about us getting better and really about us focusing in on the things that are going to give us the most success. And then we just let what happens from there.
Well, Coach, I know we're getting down to the stretch run here as far as regular season. We're only a month away from the conference tournament. March Madness is around the corner. So good luck tonight and on Wednesdays. Get ready to take on the Spartans of San Jose State. As always, Coach, we appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much for having me on. Go Aztecs.
Go Aztecs right there.
Thanks,
so
Coach.
I feel good right now with this Aztec team. They seem to got everything back in order. Shackle obviously stepping up again, knocking down his shots. I'd like to see Gomez with a little more consistency, but he is showing that he's certainly capable, as we knew he was. And then, of course, you have Matt Mitchell,